Since Assassin's Creed Origins, Ubisoft have grown the series from a stealth action genre to a more wider appealing open world action RPG. This means that there's a huge immersive world loaded with stuff to do. Before we get into it, this video is sponsored by Philips One Blade. Designed to cut hair, not skin, the Philips One Blade is a revolutionary new electric grooming technology designed for men who wear facial styles, beards, and stubble. It trims edges and shaves any length of hair. It's not just meant for shaving, but for styling and can be used in any direction without the risks of nicks and cuts. It features an ergonomic grip which makes it easier to hold in any direction, 4 stubble combs from 1mm to 5mm to style your beard. It's rechargeable and can last up to 60 minutes on a single charge, depending on the model that you choose. And the entire device is waterproof, get this, so you can use it in the shower. The blade also features a usage indicator. This green bar will gradually appear on the blade as you use it. When it's highly visible after about 4 months or so, it's recommended that you replace it with a new blade then. Shop now, follow the link in the description. Let's get into this. Let's start with the biggest change in the series. Settlement building. Valhalla's village settlement offers something very different. It is the centerpiece. Everything folds back from this and into here, including a lot of narrative and big story turning points. No longer are you the outsider, mercenary, or lone ranger. Eivor is a community leader, raid commander, and settlement builder. Each new building you construct adds more services and features to your settlement. Tents turn into timber frame buildings, and a cluster of houses in a forest clearing transform into a bustling little community. For example, building up your stable and aviary unlocks new companions like mounts, ravens, and even a giant wolf, which could be a nod to Fenrir of Norse mythology. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Here you can also upgrade your companion's ability through training. Core services like the blacksmith allow you to upgrade weapons and armor, and the tattoo parlor opens up character customization. Armor can also be hidden, or if you want to be a little bit show-offy, you can choose to show them off. There is a trading post for exchanging trinkets, and the barracks where you select your personal Jomsvikinger lieutenant, where you can customize their appearance, dress, and arm them with any gear that you've currently unlocked. Lastly, there's the Hidden Ones Bureau, which will be of particular interest to longtime Assassin's Creed fans. This building unlocks the Order of the Ancients and allows you to start researching and assassinating high-level targets. And that's just level 1 of your settlement. There are 6 levels in total, so you'll definitely be keeping the neighboring monasteries busy, just, pillaging, doing what Vikings do. Some of the buildings to add are self-explanatory, while some offer unexpected advantages. Farms, for instance, increase the amount of food you have available at feasts, which you can choose to hold in your longhouse before setting out on raiding missions. You can also decorate your settlement with statues and ruins to really make it your own. Upgrading your settlement requires resources, and this is done by raiding nearby monasteries which hold most of the loot. Give to the poor and all that. This can be done by sailing your longboat there and raiding from the beach, or if you'd like to bring more of that Assassin's Creed skill into it, you can sneak in and assassinate guards, calling on your fellow raiders when things get hairy or when you start gathering resources. So what else has changed? Wealth, secrets, and mysteries are new side quests to the series, which also indicate how much you have completed in each region, instead of you having to go around blindly searching for treasure for hours and wondering if you found it at all. They don't take long to complete and show you interests in your current region. Wealth takes you to loot, secrets to artifacts and collectibles, and mysteries take you to in-game stories which rely on your choices to solve them, including both the heartfelt and the humorous.
I have a slight pain. Do you notice anything on my head?
While you might not have the realistic experience of stumbling across treasure, this to me is a bigger respect of your time as you spend less time running around aimlessly. Slayers and Berserkers are a new type of enemy to the series, and all types require different assassination styles depending on their battlefield experience and training, so even those familiar to the franchise can have some fun figuring that out and having a more realistic experience. Health is also no longer a passive regeneration, and you accumulate health rations by picking up nutrients like berries. Your success is dependent on your ability to parry, dodge, and land attacks at the right time. Because there's a depleting stamina meter, you can't dodge continuously, which allows you to bring more strategy than past Assassin's Creed games. The downside here is that some higher ranking enemies can't be assassinated unless you have unlocked certain perks in your skill tree. ultimately removing the whole point of the original concept, as you'll need to face them in combat to defeat them face to face. Special abilities make a comeback, and some, like dipping a weapon in poison like you could do in Odyssey, are the same as they were before, but there are some new, more Viking-like additions as well. Like my personal favorite of being able to launch a flurry of axes just like into the enemy, which also seems to work around slight corners and in close spaces. We won't criticize them for that, but it's a lot of fun. These are acquired by finding various books of knowledge in and around the world, you know, just read and then you can throw axes. That's how it works, right? 3 different skill tree paths are possible to pursue: Bear, Wolf, and Raven. Each corresponds to a certain playstyle, such as the Raven representing stealth. You can progress through each of these as much as you'd like, and even reset them completely if you change your mind, like if you want to go a completely different route, which gives you a wide array of control on how to build your character's skill set, even customizing it for different mission types, which is incredibly useful because Assassin's Creed kinda isn't a stealth game exclusively anymore. Choice and consequence mechanics and dialogue options were the biggest changes Ubisoft introduced to the Assassin's Creed formula in 2018 with Odyssey, and Valhalla carries that forward. What's interesting is that a lot of the big decisions you make will tie in with your settlement. For instance, the alliances that you forge or the relationships that you build between clans as a result of your actions will be reflected in the settlement. Interestingly, your choice on gender early on in the game has no impact. Eivor is Eivor regardless, and while this simplifies the narrative by having only one protagonist, I feel as though it loses a little depth by not putting us in the shoes of a specific character to define and identify with, because I think that a woman's experience as a Viking could have been dramatically different to a man's. You can listen to songs as well as new stories, and they feature when you're sailing on longboats. I really enjoyed this little touch because it gives the crew on your ship some depth instead of just nameless faces like we would in Odyssey. There are a few mini games like flighting, which is basically a rap battle, fishing, which unlocks a few unexpected rewards, stacking cairns, all up, which is a gambling game, and even drinking contests and magic mushrooms that, when eaten, open mystical quests in a dreamlike sequence. Not unlike the real world, which I don't know anything about because I've never taken shrooms. Climbing to high points and synchronization opens panoramic views of the extensive maps. Most importantly though, you can pet all of the cats and dogs that you find. This is true. But not alligators. You can't pet an alligator. Unrealistic. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is an attempt to keep a foot on both sides, so this could either open it up to new players or it could miss long-term fans' expectations. With the addition of more team-based combat, by virtue of there being Vikings, the criticism is that when you carry an existing brand into new territory, it can alienate existing fans of the series who expect the subtle, nuanced gameplay of not being seen and completing a mission. Overall, I think it's a great way of opening up the series to fans of other open world games and just evolving Assassin's Creed as a whole. Hopefully in the future there's more freedom of choice in whether you're an outsider or if you're a team player, and maybe a little bit more focus on historical accuracy, because I like to come to my Assassin's Creed games for historical accuracy, whether that's a smart thing to do or not. To end off, here's my top 5 combat finishing moves in the game so far. What are your favorites? Have you unlocked any cool abilities? And what is your verdict on the new Assassin's Creed game style? Let me know in the comments below. I'll catch you guys in another video. Cheers.